We're back. What's up? Rombauer wins the Preakness, just like we've been saying all along. Rombauer, easy winner. I mean, I don't know why. Like we said it so many times. I feel like you guys weren't listening to us. I don't know what your problem is, but Rombauer wins. Midnight Bourbon finishes second. Medina Spirit holds on for third. Contra Tour, I just saw finished just now at the wire.
He actually he placed in the Arabian race.
He beat that horse that broke down and got third still in the Arabian race.
He was the horse that nailed the horse that broke down at the very end.
Man.
Welcome back, everybody. I mean, let's we were on Sirius XM twice since you guys heard us last week. Obviously, you already recapped a little bit. We're on our own show now, not on the national airwaves. We can say what we want. How about the fact that, I mean, I don't think any of us, like, I know so much you like Rombauer. We like Rombauer underneath. Even if he nails Midnight Bourbon at the wire, you're like, gosh, that's crazy. But I could have saw it, like the pace melt down. Maybe he made it. But for him to win, like going away, I mean, Samich, how crazy was that for you to see him just kind of pull away? I mean, we do this for a living. We see every race these horses run. You know how these horses are going to run. And for him to run like that, how shocked were you?
I'm not that shocked. I feel like a flipping idiot. I mean, that's the honest answer. Like, we talked about the California thing, the Pac-10 thing, how these horses were the horses. And you go back and I fell in love with Contra Tour. That's what I take away from this. I kind of fell in love with Contra Tour. And if you didn't do that, you're like, okay, Medina Spirit had that A++ trip. That's why he was able to get it home in the Derby. And then Midnight Bourbon's not that good. We all know that. He tries hard every time, but he's not that good. This was set up for someone to come in, take a step forward, and take the thing down. Michael McCarthy is a very good trainer. Third off the layoff, was prepping for this race. This was the plan. Like, hindsight, obviously 2020, you can make a pretty good case for this horse, and it was 11-1.
Okay, I'll stop you there because
you cannot disagree.
Make a case that Rombauer runs a 102 buyer today.
No.
Like it's not there.
That's fair, but what was the second best buyer in the field?
I have no idea. Like what? I don't even use buyers.
Like 99, maybe.
No, I think he used like 95 or 6.
Yeah, I bet you could argue Rombauer could run a 96.
I'm really not sure you could. I'm really not sure you could. Listen, I liked Rombauer underneath a bit.
Rombauer's previous high was an 88 in the Bluegrass, where he finished a distant third to Essential Quality and Highly Motivated. The race he won, the El Camino, he got an 84.
It's fast.
Fire. So this horse improved today 88 to a 102. So you guys can do the math, but I believe that's 14 points.
Very good. Very good.
I've had a lot of bourbon today, and I still got that Midnight Bourbon.
But yeah,
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Samich, but in order, like I said, I'll stick by it. If he wins, I'm not shocked, because I just think this, because Contra runs up the track, Medina folds, Midnight Bourbon doesn't like to, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't like to win. And so you're like, yeah, he nailed him at the wire, and you kind of can get there. But for him to, like, motor home like a freight train down the stretch and get a 102 buyer, apparently, it kind of blows your mind just a little bit.
I will give you that. The way he won was surprising. Like, I'm willing to concede that. The fact that he won, I don't think was that surprising. You know what I mean? I guess, I know who pulled that comment up. That's okay. Midnight Bourbon just saved Magic and I. We're not finished now.
This dude right here cried the entire time we were at the Kentucky Derby about finishing last in the fantasy league, and now he's in the running. If this horse runs in the Belmont,
we're running in the Belmont.
Assuming the Gene Spirit gets DQ'd and Paul loses his points from that, I mean, he's got a shot to win the thing.
Well, I will be in first if the DQ happens, so hopefully it does now. Okay, I'll.
Now he's rooting for it.
Yeah,
I was anyway, but listen, I think a couple things. I am very proud of my Midnight Bourbon pick. And you might go, well, that's dumb. He wasn't even close. He did exactly what I would have envisioned and hoped and prayed that he did in this race. He ran Medina Spirit into the ground. He turned for home and put him away. He looked like he was going to run a winning race. He got beat by a horse that I just never could have envisioned would have improved by that much. And to be real honest, I never, even the way Midnight Bourbon ran that race, I still would not have thought Rombauer could have beat him. I don't think he could have improved much to beat him. I mean, Midnight Bourbon probably got like a 96, 97. I don't think Rombauer could have ran that even. So I was proud of Midnight Bourbon. And I'm like, you can attest at the top of the stretch, I was like, just grind his ass into the ground, Midnight Bourbon, pin his ass on the rail and grind him. And it's like, you did it. You freaking did it. And I'm like, oh my God.
And he was so focused on that. Which
I didn't see Rombauer.
I stood up and yelled and said, uh-oh, here comes Rombauer. And Halpern, I don't even think you were watching the race. I don't think you believed what I was saying.
No.
When you watch this replay back.
I think he figured it out. Rombauer's in the lead.
And then I go, I'm going to win the fantasy league. You know?
Rombauer was 1-9 turning for home when you watch it back.
Right?
When I watched the replay and I watched him again, I was like, oh, yeah.
We watch enough racing where you can see how he's right. It's like, it's over. And so you're a big trip guy. What did you think of that? Because obviously, was it Pratt? You think how much of a difference did Pratt make? Because he made a middle move there. They kind of got the horse in position, and he was obviously very forwardly placed considering where this horse sometimes comes from. Do you think that made the difference that he was right there and he still packed that late punch that we're used to seeing from Rombauer?
I think it was a good job of understanding the pace. Concert didn't break. I mean, he broke slower than me out of like a 40. Like he was wildly slow at the start, got bumped, and that set it up so that the three Medina Spirit kind of had it his own way. Pratt saw that setup and didn't want to be too far off. It's funny, you listen to Michael McCarthy talk about how he didn't want Rombauer as close as he was in the Bluegrass here in the Preakness, and yet Pratt was like, no, I'm gonna stick close. And he was right. The fractions weren't that fast. It looked like it was a pretty easy lead. You had the Rosario bell curve effect, although I blame the horse a little bit more than Rosario this time. And all of a sudden you had Pratt sitting here, a rail trip around the turn, able to tilt 3 wide. And look, we talked about Medina Spirit and how that Derby was a little bit of a falsehood. Kind of ran the 5th fastest time adjusted and how Midnight Bourbon had beaten him. My daughter is very passionate about this, if you can't tell.
Hey, trust me, I don't have my kids right now, but I've been there, so there's no worries.
I thought that was Heather at first.
As a dad, my instant reaction is like, Thomas, go check on her, please.
Yeah. It's bath time. That's not a fun time in this household.
We get it.
So yeah, I mean, when you saw Pratt around the turn, he saved the ground, was able to tilt out to the 3 path. It was over. It was just over. I mean, look, we talked about how weak this Preakness field was. It's not that great of a set of horses overall. Mm-hmm. It's not that shocking that someone was able to jump up and take care of this field.
I agree with that.
Okay. That point
that's fair.
Is fair.
Yep.
But
the 102 is the outlier. The result is not.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll concede that that's fair, and I'm not going to get into the technicalities of. I think if you would have told me, hey, Midnight Bourbon's going to run that type of race, I think you would have taken him. You know, that's kind of my deal, I guess. But listen, you're right. It was set up for somebody else to win, and it really was when Concert Tour said, I'm not doing anything today. So
Concert Tour.
you guys talk about him and because somebody asked, Concert Tour or Mike Smith, who's to blame for the lackluster performance? So you guys.
Well, I'll set it up for you, Samich, and you had much more money than I did on the line on him, so I'll let you finish it off. But I'll set it up. They break. He breaks poorly. And then so we pretty much, as you and I have this horse on top, we know, okay, well, Medina broke well, so we're sitting off. He's wide into the first turn. And I don't know about you, but I had a pretty, like, you could just tell, like, he didn't seem like he was really into it from the very start. So that had me worried. And then, I mean, the horse was done in the far turn. I mean, he was god-awful. It just seemed like, I don't know what that was. At least Medina ran. I mean, he tried, but Concert, what did he finish? Second to last?
No, he finished last. He did not beat Ram.
Did he beat Ram?
No, Ram was last.
Ram was
Concert
last.
Tour finished second to last. I'll give you the Rombauer Midnight Bourbon Medina Spirit. Keep Me in Mind. Crowded Trade. Unbridled Honor. The France-Japanese horse, risk-taking Concert Tour, and Ram finished.
Well, he must have really kicked it in down the stretch because I was pretty sure he was behind him.
Yeah, he was. He may have been ahead of him. It was close. Ram was awful. Gosh. Concert Tour. I mean, you obviously, and I was too. I just simply wasn't good enough, or what?
Can I stop it just real quick and make an announcement? Total handle for Pimlico on the 14-race Preakness card today was a record 112,504,509. What a day. Former record, $99 million in 2019. They set a handle record.
Almost $13 million.
By almost $13 million.
Here's the thing. Yes, it is a terrible look for the sport. It also gets eyes on the sport. So I'm not surprised the handle was up because you had a bunch of people who wanted to watch this race because of everything that happened.
Yep.
So I'm not shocked that there was more money bet on it. There was a storyline. It was very interesting.
But I want your take on Concert Tour.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
What was your Concert Tour take? And then I want to jump back to that thought because I've been wanting to talk about this since we were on the radio on XM and we couldn't really talk about the act. So what was Concert Tour thoughts?
Yeah, my take is he didn't break and it was over. And it's that simple. I mean, this horse needed the lead to be able to get to the rail and win, right? I mean, that was really all that it was. It's like, can you get to the rail and can you win the race? And he couldn't do it. And Mike Smith said, hey, I'm going to be out of the gate fast. These comments are incredible. Mike Smith is like, I'm going to be out of the gate fast. I'm going to get out there. We're going to see who the faster horse is. Well, he got out slow. And then he got hip checked by the damn 9 horse who had no chance in this race. And it was over. And you saw him around the first turn and Mike Smith decided to rate him. And I don't blame Mike Smith because I know certain people on the Racing Dudes channels has blamed Rosario for the ride in Kentucky Derby. But once
who would that be?
After the first literally 16th of a mile, what the hell is he supposed to do? And that would be my same thing to Mike Smith. What the hell was he supposed to do? Once he got bumped, once he didn't break, he's cooked. And
he was in no man's land in the first turn because he couldn't get there, but he also wasn't in. So he just kind of was just drifting out. Yeah.
He's 4 wide, 3 wide, just disinterested. I'm not going to judge the horse's talent off this race. I'm not going to bet the horse in a 2-turn race again where he's not low in speed either, though. I'll definitely tell you that right now.
Okay, so
I agree.
So a lot of thoughts, and we talked about a lot of eyes on the sport for what was happening. What is the final? Someone asked, can we put this to bed? And the kind of the dark, week we had here. Obviously, we'll find out here in the coming weeks between now and the Belmont what happens with Medina Spirit's quote unquote Kentucky Derby win. What are we doing with this now? Okay, Beautiful Gift, Hosier. I don't know Hosier. I don't think Hosier was in that, but he obviously ran poorly. Beautiful Gift, Medina Spirit, Concert Tour, all very heavily tested leading up to these races. The Black Eyed Susan, Preakness, all passed their test. All ran. Let's call it very below average, very poorly. Medina Spirit did finish third, but obviously wasn't even able to hold off Rombauer. or Midnight Bourbon. So what's the take now? Is it, wow, Baffert is so cheating. Now he didn't have drugs. He couldn't get it done. He did with drugs. Or is it now like the 2-week layoff? That was tough. I mean, where do you think you stand, and where do you think the general public stands after watching and betting this Preakness Stakes?
Okay, general public, it's over for them. It's completely over for them. They will not care about this ever. Well, maybe not ever again, but they won't care about it, because what's going to happen is Bob Baffert's going to go back to Santa Anita and Del Mar, and nobody's going to know he's there, and nobody's going to care, and business will go on as usual. I really believe that, because he's out of the spotlight. Nobody's going to the Belmont.
Now his horse is out of it.
Yeah, the only other race the general public's going to care about is the Belmont. His horses aren't going to be in it, and they're not going to watch it. They're not going to care. So he's done with.
Baffert's don't want a mile and a half.
Yeah, big shock, right? But yeah, so that's done with it. For the horse racing community, it goes on, but in a much lesser situation, because I think what's going to happen is people are going to. Well, obviously, a lot of people didn't boycott this. I think that said they did, but anyway, the people that are still boycotting probably just won't play where he's at, and business will go on as usual. I really think it's over now. I think Medina Spirit winning would have made it linger for 3 more weeks. Now what's going to happen, we'll wait for the split sample. We'll get that result. They'll make their decision, and it's over.
Could I make an argument that every horse ran the way that it actually like the talent level is this weekend for Baffert?
You can't make it for Concert Tour because you thought he would win, but you can make it for the other.
But maybe this is Concert Tour. Maybe Concert Tour is the Arkansas Derby.
Well, okay, that's fair.
Like, because you look back at this beautiful gift. It was a bad California class. Hoosier's not good anyway. He actually ran pretty well. Rosario's ride was terrible going up the rail. Medina Spirit ran the same race that he ran in the Derby, right? And then, do you think I could pronounce a red wine if I can't pronounce horses' names? Come on, man. You know better than that. And then Concert Tour ran back to his Arkansas Derby. Every single Baffert horse actually had this same form line. It's just a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that Michael Myers says I boycotted yesterday, and after the record handle is fucking.
I love that. That's so.
Look, I don't talking there. You're like everyone else is getting in on it. I gotta get on that.
I don't knock anyone for boycotting it. I totally get it, but this is also like if you want to try and make money, these are the best days to play. Mm-hmm. And so don't let Bob ruin this shit for you. Like enjoy it, have fun.
Altman said it best. I think it was on Blinkers Off, or I don't know what show.
Hell, I don't know.
1,000 shows, yeah. Where he's like, I'm not going to let Bob Baffert ruin this for me.
No, it's Preakness Day. It's my favorite race of the Triple Crown.
And you know what? In that regard, it's the best situation that could happen because he didn't win any races, and we were able to have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Obviously, the handle was astronomical, and the racing really lived up to it. And you had a trainer like Michael McCarthy win a Preakness that, I mean, even though we didn't see coming, shit, I mean, it's good to see that guy win one.
Yeah, you don't have any trouble with him winning the race. A horse, it was a very good performance. They didn't, as Mike would say, stumble Bunny home. I mean, they all did, but
they were running.
Yeah, 2 of them were. So Medina was stumble Bunny, but it gave us another horse to kind of get excited about. We talked on the Derby, post show. It's like these horses just don't want to pass anybody in this crowd. Well, that horse wants to, I guess, all of a sudden. So, I mean, it was. Listen, I'm not going to say it because every time I say it's a victory for horse racing, something bad happens right after it. But it was a good weekend, all things considered.
What do you think? I mean, I know you think that it's just business as usual after this, and everyone. I mean, do you think it's that simple, Samich?
I think Bob Baffert got convicted in the court of public opinion today. I mean,
I agree with that. Yeah,
like you think that he'll never come back from it?
No, I think. Well, I think that everyone who wasn't sure if he was guilty feels like he's guilty now. Right. Yeah. I mean, you had a trainer who had these 2 horses that were the second or the favorite and the third choice. You had a heavy favorite in the first race. You had the favorite in the Black Eyed Susan, and all of them lost. And I would say 2 of the 4 ran terribly. Yeah. 2 of the 4 ran to expectation.
Yeah.
And if you're just tuning in for the breeders or for the Derby, and then you're tuning in for the Preakness, it seems like Bob Baffert cheated, right?
Yeah. And that was the point I was trying to make. by asking that question that way I did, because I think to the public, what you're saying is correct, that people are going to look at that and say, because like I said earlier on the show, people were asking me, well, now that Bob Baffert isn't cheating, isn't drugging, or however it was phrased, like, do you think he'll still win? And that, and to that point, that's the public opinion. And now he lost badly. And now in their minds, it's like, well, he's not drugging. Now he lost.
I don't think I answered it very well. What I guess the point I'm trying to make is I think everybody in the horse racing community knew it anyway. So it's like, yeah, we get it. But what I'm saying is the public might think that, but the general public, other than these 3 races, they don't mean anything to us. Like the people that come in for these 3 races and go out, they don't mean anything. They mean something, but not for the day-to-day grind of racing. So yeah, let that be their opinion, but it's kind of going to be business as usual on the horse racing side, I'm afraid.
But to Samich's point, I'm interested because, the next, like, obviously you have like the Travers and stuff that will be, but I mean, like, the next really big program is the Breeders' Cup after the Belmont, of course. But if he's not going to have any runners there, then,
sure.
So then what happens if, like, like, say he's got 1 or 2 horses in the Classic or undercard or whatever. Then all of a sudden, like, well, what happened? I thought that guy was suspended, or I thought that guy couldn't run horses or whatever, because they don't really understand exactly what happened. So I feel like there's still something looming or going to be, as far as the public goes, something's going to have to happen.
Go ahead.
The craziest part? Right now, sitting here, who is Baffert's best chance to win a Breeders' Cup race?
Gamine would have to be it, right?
I was going to say De Jour.
I don't know, because De Jour's going to have to run against the older turf horses.
I guess that's true. So yeah, maybe Gamine, right? But like, are we sure Gamine's even going to get there? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be a player on Breeders' Cup.
Still running?
Charlatan is supposed to run in the Met Mile. That could be one. Yeah. Vicky says Life is Good.
Yeah, I get that's definitely in there. But Life is Good would have to run in the Classic.
Most likely. You could go to the Dirt Mile, I guess. But if he goes to the Dirt Mile, that means he didn't come back very well, because those.
It also means you're not in the same spotlight. Every race we're talking about, we're not talking about the races, right? Like where you really get like the Derby is the race. Mm-hmm. That's where you're under a microscope. If you win the Dirt Mile, who won the Dirt Mile last year with what horse? Just wondering.
Yeah, Cox, Nick Sco. Yeah.
Just saying. So it's not the same microscope as if it's the Distaff or if it's the Classic or if it's the Turf, right? I mean, there's a subset of races that are going to attract more attention on that weekend.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to, as bettors, as the betting public, as fans, if you feel like the biggest thing right now is probably to his pride. He's been under the microscope. Everyone thinks he's a cheater. Like, Bob Baffert is a guy of, he wants to be in the forefront. If people are thinking he's a big cheater, and I mean, maybe we can naturally just get rid of him, right? If the public just kind of thinks, and all of a sudden, we don't really like him anymore, and maybe he just kind of goes away.
If that happens, and if his credibility gets knocked down and nobody likes him and nobody's giving him attention, I do think he will retire, because I do think what this week has proven to me, something that I really didn't know, and you may say, well, you're real naive. It really is all about Bob. Wow, that ego, we saw it come out, right? I mean, that Sunday and that Monday when that thing broke, wow, he made an ass of himself. So we did learn that.
None of his horses win, and he's not even there. He doesn't even show up.
Maybe that was the tell.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe the fact that he didn't show up, we should have kind of known these horses weren't going to run that well. My argument would be he'll be around until people stop giving him these horses.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, the fact that matters, it's really on the ownership. And you saw specific groups come out, and I think it was Beholder's group. Well, I can't think of their name right now.
Yeah. Spendthrift.
Yeah. Spendthrift came out and said, we're not going to give Baffert horses. Until you see places, until you have Matacat and you have all those guys say, we're not going to give Baffert horses. If he's getting the best horses in every crop, he's going to be around. It's that simple. It's the owners are the ones that can affect change here. It's not, us. It's not, even like the boards or the racetracks. It's the owners who can really say, stop this if they say, we're not going to give Baffert horses.
Yep.
All right, let's put a bow on this. Obviously, we'll have a lot. Magic Mike will be back on Monday, talk about the Preakness and what we saw. We'll be back on Blinkers Off later in the week, talk about what we saw, really digest this. But as we move into the Belmont, let's assume Rombauer is going to run there. Let's assume, obviously, I don't think we're going to see a Baffert horse in there. Let's assume, who's Hot Rod Charlie is going to be in there.
Yeah, maybe Essential Quality.
Maybe Essential Quality. Maybe Mandalua. I don't. What do you, as we move forward to the Belmont, where are you kind of starting to position yourself, Samich, in terms of who you like?
You know who ran? I made the conference analogy before when we were doing that show. Derby, first place, California. Second place, Louisiana. Third place, California. Preakness, first place, California. Second place, Louisiana. Third place, California. We know what two circuits are the best. Add Essential Quality into those two circuits. Go ahead and hit the Super.
It makes sense. I listen. I kind of like Hot Rod Charlie at this point, but
I mean,
Louisiana,
yeah,
and California.
He's California went to Louisiana and validated it. Like it's amazing how those two circuits have stood out above the rest now through two Triple Crown races. The best 3-year-olds are coming out of those two places, and then Essential Quality, who's kind of been a floater. I mean, he's like he was in the Middle America a little bit with Keeneland, obviously in the Breeders' Cup, but like. California and Louisiana have proven that they have the best 3-year-olds running in those two places this year.
Yeah,
and let's be honest, a circuit that is typical of providing very solid horses.
California, yeah.
But I was going to go to Oakland.
Oh well, Oakland with Essential Quality, yeah.
But I mean, Essential Quality minus him. I mean, look at the Rebel.
Yeah.
Look at the
no good. No good.
Awful.
Aqueduct, Gulfstream,
Awful.
like it's
Bad.
It's right there. That's how you get to Rombauer today. That it really was right there, and it's just you got to focus on California and Louisiana. That's where it's happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely. And I mean, if it all depends on the pace. If Hot Rod can get to the lead, I feel like he worked today. I know, but he seems like a horse that would be a quote unquote new shooter, but obviously coming from the Kentucky Derby, that would be a threat for sure.
So. What about Essential Quality? He beat this Preakness winner by 6 lengths
Exactly.
last time out.
Yeah,
right?
last time we saw Essential versus Rombauer, Rombauer was like the horse. Like, Rombauer finished third.
Rombauer was all out. Go watch the El Camino Real Derby in your spare time tonight. He was all out to win the El Camino Real Derby, and now he has won the Preakness with a 102 buyer. Let's give credit where credit's due. Flavian Pratt, he deserves a lot of credit. How about Michael McCarthy?
How about the groom and the hot walker? Like it was cool to see Pratt give credit to the groom and the hot walker right after the race too.
That's cool. Yeah.
Just to say that it was ready. And I guess this is the other question. And we've gotten a couple of filly mentions into the Belmont. Do we think we're going to see a filly actually enter the field there?
I think she will.
I think it will be a tell from Pletcher too if he enters her, because Known Agenda is a horse that might make some sense under as far as the Belmont distance. If he enters her and no one else, who is the horse that ran well in Peter Pan? What was that horse's name?
Promise Keeper.
Promise.
And he also has Known Agenda, so he could have 3.
Said,
did you say that? I was
and then obviously another one for the Malachi.
But it's funny because when Aaron
out.
cuts out, you can't hear Jared. Jared just keeps talking.
He doesn't listen.
No.
But no,
all the time.
If he enters her and no one else, that's kind of a tell.
I agree. I mean, we talked about the conference thing. We said the California horses for the females. Clearly, New York is the best circuit. So you could say that Malachi is a horse that wants every bit of the 1.5-mile distance. Could be pretty competitive in this field. I kind of agree with Aaron that you have Essential Quality coming back. I think Mandaloon's really interesting. I think Hot Rod Charlie's really interesting. I think those are the 3 best horses in the Derby. I'd love to see those 3 horses bang it out in 1.5 miles because I think they may be the 3 best horses that we have right now in this 3-year-old crop. But I think Malafat would at least add that the public appeal because you have that filly in there. And at the same time, I think it would take a lot of money that may help on the betting side as well.
Let all those horses, that's what she said, bang them out. Rombauer is going to win this thing, going to win the Belmont, going to win me the fantasy league back-to-back years, baby. Rombauer.
I'm just happy our drunken donkey was the one that kept us out of last.
Yeah, you guys are out of last now with Midnight Bourbon.
Yeah,
it's a good
I
day.
think you guys are safe with El Dan and such a quality back there in the back. So unless such a quality runs to the Belmont and wins the damn thing.
Well, then Saratoga Summit.
We got 3 teams underneath us.
Yeah, they made a big.
We got room. We got buffer room now.
Honestly, Slim probably. I mean, he's got nobody, right?
He's got nobody.
He's in trouble.
He's in
Guys,
trouble.
he's got Caddo River.
You think Cat? I mean,
He's not doing it. He's kidding. I was like, what?
Really? Come on.
He's got risk
Too
taking.
much red. Okay. All right.
Risk taking is a worse answer than Caddo River.
No, I've had enough Rombauer talk in my life
I haven't. I haven't had near enough.
to last. Yeah,
I was-
it's that horse one. He's like, I'm gonna win the fantasy league.
I am so pissed at myself for falling in love with Concert Tour. I had the triple in the guide. My second, third, and fourth horses were the freaking triple, and I fell so in love with Concert Tour. I didn't bet it. I didn't just box them up, call them home. Like it's one of those things as a gambler. Sometimes you get so laser focused on that one horse, and it just messes your entire day up. And this was one of those spots where I got so focused on Concert Tour, everything else was fine. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it was. The Concert Tour was rough. I mean, obviously, it'd be interesting to see what obviously one turn seems to be what I would point to, but it'd be probably. My guess is it'll be a little bit of time before we see Concert Tour or Medina Spirit again on the track. It seems like they're going to have some time off after today. So,
like probably next year.
Yeah, I'd say, would it be surprising? Really, honestly, I mean, I don't. But would it be that surprising?
I can't see any way Concert Tour is entered until I have gray hair or never again. One of the two.
I mean, I would be shocked if it was next year because they would be stud over next year.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
fair.
Yeah. But what are the odds? Are the odds lower that one of those, like their horses are stud, or are they run again? I mean, honestly, I think stud seems more likely.
Who wants to breed to either one of them, though? That's the thing. You
At
know,
this point, who
Concert
knows?
Tour is a great stakes winner.
That's but when does the breeding go? We don't want to do this, you know.
But Street Sense by Tappet.
I know. You're right about
That's
that.
the thing. You could make a bigger argument, even though Medina Spirit won the Derby, you could make a bigger argument to breed to Concert Tour.
Oh,
Because of
absolutely.
the bloodlines.
Yep.
Yeah, because Medina Spirit has no bloodlines. So
Yeah. Right.
Protonico. Everyone wants a Protonico, right?
Yeah.
All right. He's Mike Somich. He's Aaron Halterman. We'll be back obviously next week. Get the full insights of the race after we've had time to digest this and we have less alcohol in our systems. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And you heard it here. Rombauer, he won the Preakness. All right. Thanks, guys.